like I say, what happened about 1890, 1850, going on 1900. What happened was basically me and Germany and China had known about the overpopulation problem. Now Roosevelt and Truman and a bunch of other Republicans and Democrats basically were over here in America or United States saying everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine, and they're playing the stock market, eating like crazy. Yeah, yeah, money here, have some money. Yeah, here's another bill, darling. And they called it the Roaring Twenties. And what it was Roosevelt and a bunch of other people were basically coming over here and basically living high on the hog. They had sold cars, they had sold traction engines, but the thing was they didn't have. See, they were doing the financial system of this is worth a penny. But then they were like everything's negotiable. But then they sold 900 million of these or 800 million of these at the stock market, at the stock exchange. Okay, and they were buying, and they were using that to buy food for America and for the United States from other countries. Okay. Now then, and they're eating that food mostly and living high on the hog. They were partying it up, glug, 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 drinking all this wine, all this, eating all kinds of food, right? And like I said, what they're doing is they're playing the bubble, and they're saying, well, this is negotiable. I can pay a penny for this. And it's like, you can't turn this penny into this. The British system was literally based on weight. This weighs 23 grams of solid, dense matter, right? Okay, so Roosevelt and the Republicans, the Democrats, were saying everything's negotiable. Yeah. I can pay this penny. You'll take this penny, and you better give me my medal. And they're using that as a stock market, and they're like, I'm good for it. I got the money. Anyway, but they weren't good for it. They didn't have the metal. They didn't have the food. So Roosevelt, the Republicans, the Democrats were going to have a problem. The United States, the Republic, was going to starve. Because they were trying to buy food from Germany and China and the other countries. Because they knew about the overpopulation problem. And then they planned to go kill those people, take their food, because they were stealing their money. They're doing this whole markets thing. Anyway, it gets all complicated and convoluted as they were using stock, they were using speculation, and they were using the money that people were giving them, the metal that people were giving them, to go over there and live high on the hog, or live, instead of paying all the metal stamps or all the pieces of metal, so this item could be made, they were just living it up over there like they were rich, and living it up here in the United States like they were rich, playing it off that they're rich. But then when orders came due, when it came time to pay that food to the people, when it came time to pay that metal to give the person the item, or to give the food to the people of the country that they were supposedly running, they didn't have it. They had eaten it. They didn't even care about the farms in the United States. They never intended to pay it. They intended to just poison everybody and kill them. And that was the Republican, the Democratic lie. The lie of the Republic is that they plan to poison the rest of the country. But another thing, though, is that they didn't understand how my food system, I was 29% or 60% of the food. I had another older factory that accounted for 12%, and some of those people were in America as well, or the United States. My food went all over the world. So when they hit one of my lower tech factories, which didn't have the system, they actually poisoned themselves. But that might have been intentional because they knew that the person, because they had gotten the metal from the people. Now the people would then go. Now they asked, and they asked for like 29 grams of metal from the people. So the people paid, being good, honest people, paid 29 grams of solid steel. Now I can work with that. Now if you gave me, like, say, tinder discs of any type, I can go ahead and say, okay, well, I'll skip a little bit and we'll go ahead and make that stainless steel, and I can throw in some brass or whatever, and I'll make it work. I can do that. My companies could do that. Because you can just mix it up. I forget the metallurgies and stuff like that. My metallurgists, my German metallurgists were really good, and they could do some stuff. But what Nixon and the Republicans actually did was they said, here's your penny. Now give me my item. And then I don't think they even planned to pay the people the money. I think they planned to shoot or kill them. And then go and sell it again. And then they would be rich. And that was the whole stock market whole thing that happened between 1880 and 1920, and why the stock market went and why the Republicans, because it was all a lie, and it was based on them killing 500 million people. And then they were going to shoot the people, and then after the people were poisoned and sick, they were going to grab the guns and shoot the people. So, so they intended to, Nixon and the Republicans and the people of the stock market, because the stock market was it wasn't based on money, it was based on metal and food. It was literally a stock market. So anyway, Nixon and the Republicans and all the Republicans and Democrats, going back to the beginning of the Republic, fully intended, they were just taking money from the people and fully intending to kill them. And that was the whole Republican and Democratic lie. And that's why they're guilty as fuck. Anyway, yeah, so that's what happened over there in Europe, is that they poisoned all of Europe and also a third of America or other countries to try and just kill off as many people as they wanted. And they killed off a lot of the smart people that ate the better food, and even themselves. Everyone got sick with the plague. Like, because the people that didn't eat the food, the plague or the virus they used was highly, highly, highly contagious. I think, like almost airborne contagious. So, or at least the strain that they used, it switched over to airborne somehow, and it spread like wildfire. Anyway, the Roosevelt and other people, I think they were hiding in a bunker or something like that. Some of the people and then they were planning as coming out like heroes. But realistically, like I say, it came out how they poisoned the food in the first place because we caught them. Because we sample our food. We sampled our meat before it went through the machine every now and then. We caught it. And also someone got sick and died at one of my other lower tech facilities because I don't think they realized how many factories I actually owned. So my people were like, and caught it. And so anyway, so I come out like the hero. And then Nixon and some other people try and say, well, you must have done it because, you weren't affected. It's like, just because my tests are that good? Anyway, and that's how Unit 731 and Auschwitz and a lot of those other people, they're heroes. They always were heroes. They always will be heroes. They saved at least a third or 2/3 of the world population. We acted really fast, but it's hard to act fast with an airborne contagious virus or something like that. I don't know what it was, but it was bad. We lost like 150 to 250 million people, possibly 500. Mostly children, I think. The children and the old people were really affected. Auschwitz had screens on it right away, and we moved fast to try and, we were burning tires, we were burning whatever. We were doing everything we could because the mosquitoes from and everything else like that. We lost a lot of people. And it wasn't bombing. It wasn't anything else. Then after everyone was dead, then they tried to bomb everyone who'd lived or so. I don't know, it just got bad. It was really bad.